Welcome back to the Blissful Biz podcast. Today, I'm pulling back the curtain on my podcast creation process. I can't believe that it's nearly 5 years that I started this podcast. Oh my gosh, it's 5 years ago. I published the first episode January 7th, 2020. I just checked that. And this is episode 232. 232 episodes, my friend. One pretty much every week since I started. I just checked the stats and I had 109,189 downloads since I started, over 100,000. This is so crazy. And I still get thrilled when I see my little show listed on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Yeah, it's just amazing. It's been a really amazing journey. And now some of my clients inside the Blissful Biz Academy are in the process of launching their own podcast, which is so exciting. And so we talked about podcasting in our calls a lot. And I thought it would be fun to share more about my podcasting process with you guys here, how I plan my episodes, and how I'm actually creating everything, all those episodes every week, and what goes into it. So let's dive in. Welcome to the Blissful Biz podcast, the show where we explore how to build an online business that's simple, sustainable, and profitable without the hustle and no matter your age. I'm your host, Susanne Reicher, and my mission is to help you package your expertise and create a blissful, highly profitable online business that aligns with your passions and values. In this podcast, I share practical, actionable advice as well as insights from my own business journey and the valuable lessons I've learned building my online business. If you're ready to build a business that brings you both bliss and success, you are in the right place. One of the things I love about podcasting is the structure it gives me. I know I'm publishing a new episode every week on Tuesday, and that's that. There's no wavering, there are no delays. It simply gets done. I think it's the only thing in my life that I'm so consistent with. And it all starts with a content calendar. I'm using Asana for planning and scheduling my podcast episodes, and it's amazing. You might have heard me talk about Asana before. It's a free project management and task management software. You can learn more about it and sign up for it when you go to asana.com, like the yoga asana, asana.com. And I'm using the free plan. It's incredible. So in Asana, I have a project with a board view and columns for content ideas, scheduled, editing, and published. This is my podcast content calendar, and this is where I plan my podcast episodes. Throughout the month, I capture every podcast idea that pops into my head in Asana in the column content ideas. These ideas often come at me at the most unexpected times. So, for example, just last week, I was on my morning walk when I had this idea and I quickly pulled out my phone, opened Asana, and jotted it down, just a few words, nothing like final, before it could slip away. Then at the end of each month, I sit down and review these ideas and I plan the next month episode. I always plan 1 month ahead at least. While, of course, I consider strategic factors like what I'm selling that month and potential guest interviews I've done already. I also tune into my gut feelings about each topic. And I ask myself, which ideas light me up and make me excited to start researching? What topics do I feel my audience needs right now, even if they haven't explicitly asked for them? Are there any ideas that keep resurfacing, almost demanding to be explored? It's great to have a plan to follow. And if you need some inspiration to get into your content creation process, I have an amazing resource for you, my Client Magnetism Content Kit. I'm going to link to it below this episode. It gives you 12 weeks of content ideas with examples for the hooks, the titles, the content outline. It's a really great way to get started. But, over time, when you get more confident with your content creation, and I think I'm there, I just really like to listen to my intuition here. And I got a lot better in trusting these intuitive nudges. Some of my most successful episodes have come from ideas that didn't necessarily tick all the logical boxes, but felt right on a deeper level. And it's a lot more fun to create those episodes as well. So it's this mix of being strategic and being like in the flow and listening to your intuition. You want to have that balance 100%. Okay, so for example, for this month, I planned episode number 231, The Secret Sauce to Your Instagram Success with Gabi Metz. This went out October 1st, so this already has been published. Then we have episode 232, How I Plan and Create My Podcast Episodes. That's this episode to be published tomorrow. I'm recording it on Monday, October 7th, and it's going to go out October 8th. Then next week, I have an interview with the amazing Gwen Ferreira on how to build your offer suite. So this will go out October 15th. Then we have 2 more episodes on 234 vulnerabilities and how to be unique in a sea of sameness. I plan to publish that October 22nd. And crafting a signature offer, creating your business's crown jewel. And that's going to go out October 29th. So this month, October, we have 5 episodes because the first one was published October 1st. And then it just goes on, right? Month by month by month. That's October. When it comes to inviting guests, I keep it pretty casual. I get a lot of cold pitches from podcast agencies or people reaching out, but honestly, 95% of cases, they really aren't a great fit, and I'm just not interested. I'm really protective of you guys, of my listeners, and I only want to have guests that really bring value to the show. My favorite guests are the ones that I reached out to. Entrepreneurs I met in my masterminds, people I follow online and admire, students of mine, the list goes on. And, when I'm selecting guests, I have a process. So I pretty much look at some key factors. Number one, relevance to my audience. The expertise of my guest should be aligned with the topics my listeners are interested in. Number two, unique perspectives or experiences. I love to have guests who can offer fresh insights or an innovative approach. Number three, clear expertise in their field. So guests should have a proven track record or significant experience in their area of expertise. And number four, good communication skills, and I really learned this over time that I'm looking for that. But the ability to articulate ideas clearly, it's just so important. It's crucial for an engaging podcast episode. Sometimes you don't really know that before you have someone on the show. And, I probably will still publish the episode. But yeah, I had some interview guests where I was like, oh my God, this was really tough interviewing them. But yeah, but you just work with what you have, obviously. I also consider the current trends and challenges in the industry. If there's a hot topic or a pressing issue my audience is grappling with, I'm going to look out for experts who can provide valuable insights on that subject. I mean, obviously, this is what I've done, in the pandemic. Remember those times? Like March 2020, I put out a lot of content around how to teach yoga online because that is what people needed. And that was my expertise. So I simply packaged it up and it was amazing. It really gave my business a big push. So in the past, I used to have more guests than I do now, and I mix it up. One week a solo episode, next week an interview. Today, I do more solo episodes. I feel I have so much to say. But I also don't overthink it. And it's probably because I got a tiny bit lazy when it comes to researching and inviting potential guests. I feel like I've had so many people on my show already. So I would have to do more research and find people that, like are not, that I don't know yet, basically. So if you think you know a great guest, please tell them to reach out and simply send me an email to hello@susannereike.com with a pitch for why they should be on the show. Okay, so after the planning, that's the first step, comes the weekly podcast creation process. I record my podcast every single week. Mondays are my dedicated podcast and content days. I know some people like to batch their episodes and create like 6 episodes in one big, long, juicy session, but this just doesn't work for me. I record a new episode every Monday, and when it's an interview and it's already been recorded, I'm just super happy about the extra time I find in my Monday. The last thing I want to do after I've scripted and recorded an episode is do another one right away. And for me, that works. You have to figure out what's working for you. I'm also not worried about having to record and publish an episode because it's been working so well for so long. And I know I could always republish like one of my most popular episodes. I've done that in some summers and it worked really great. Like if something happens and for whatever reason I'm not able to record an episode one week, either there would be no episode. I don't think, the world would collapse. I think it would be fine. Or I would just pre publish an old episode that's done well in the past. So I know some people need it for their nervous system to have that library of ready to go episodes to go out. And if you need that, if that feels good for you, do that. But for me, my process worked really well for me. So every Monday, I record my episodes and I start with scripting them. I like to script my episodes. When you are really great at speaking freely and you just need an outline, that's amazing. It's going to save you so much time. But I create a script and then I change things as I'm speaking, actually. So I'm reading the script and I'm also like adding things and changing things. But it gives me more structure and it keeps me from just rambling on about things. And I think it's just a better quality. So I start with a rough outline, which I write, and then I use Claude.ai to help develop a full script. Claude is an AI tool, artificial intelligence tool like ChatGPT, which you probably know. And I like Claude more. I think Claude is so polite and it really feels like having a writing buddy or my charming French assistant who never gets tired or needs a coffee break. I go back and forth with Claude, refining each section until it feels just right. This process typically takes about 2 hours, but it flies by when I'm in the zone and I really enjoy that actually. Once the script is ready, I move on to recording. I use Descript for this phase, focusing on audio only content. I learned that trying to look camera ready while reading a script, it's just not my strength. and I'm not good. Like trying to look into the camera, reading a script, it doesn't work for me, even with those AI tools that do that. Um, I attempted video recordings, but it slows me down, and it's so much harder for me somehow to actually sit down and do it. It's just not my thing. I have to worry about my makeup and my hair and, the light and all those things. Audio only allows me to focus entirely on delivering the content without worrying about visual distractions. Hey there, have I told you about the Blissful Biz Hive? I'm so excited to invite you to join the friendliest free biz building community on the internet, the Blissful Biz Hive. Whether you're a coach, a yoga teacher, or another heart-led entrepreneur, this is the space where your dreams of building a purpose-driven, profitable online business can truly take flight, all without the hustle and burnout. Now, I know you're busy, so let me tell you about the incredible goodies waiting for you inside the Hive. When you join today, you'll get immediate access to our free training, Make Your First or Next 5K Online. This is my proven 4-pillar framework that's helped so many of my clients stand out, attract their dream clients, and create irresistible signature offers. This training alone is valued at $297, but you get it for free just for being part of our community. We also have weekly calls where I hop on live to answer your questions and offer support. Plus, there are exclusive trainings, workshops, and so much more. And here's something super fun. You can actually earn points by participating in the community, which unlocks some amazing bonuses valued at over $1,200. How cool is that? So if you're tired of trying to figure everything out on your own, or you're just looking for a place where you can grow your business with love and support, the Blissful Biz Hive is exactly where you need to be. I can't wait to see you inside. Go to susannereiker.com/hive and join today. That's SUSANNEREIKER.com/hive, HIVE, to join. Let's build that purpose-driven, profitable business of your dreams together. I used to have a podcast editor, and then we edit videos for a while, and it got so expensive and just took extra time, and it didn't get me better results, so I stopped it all. Now I'm handling the editing and publishing myself, also through Descript, and I love it. It's so fast and easy, and honestly just takes a few extra minutes, the editing. How it works is that the software transcribes the audio and then I can edit the text. So when I make a mistake, when I record, I pause and then I repeat myself. And in Descript, I can then just delete the words I said so I can read it. And it's just super fast. It's so easy. It's so intuitive. And it has streamlined my workflow a lot. There's even a studio sound feature that they have that enhances audio quality, making my home office recording sound so much better. That's descript.com, DESCRIPT.com. I love it. I use it for all my recordings, for my podcast, for the lessons in my online courses or videos that I want to edit. Descript for the win. For recording, I use my MacBook Pro and my Blue Yeti microphone. It's also a few years old already. Nothing fancy. I've been recording in my living room, but it's not so great because it's such a big room and it doesn't have great audio. Smaller rooms normally have better audio. So I plan to get a small desk and put it in my guest bedroom and use this. Then as Tuesday rolls around, it's time for publication and promotion. So I don't do everything in one day. I spread it out because I don't know why. I think it evolved when I had a team that I had to spread it out because then they were waiting for it and then did their thing. And now it just gives me some more flexibility and freedom. So when it gets late with recording the podcast, I don't have to stress about, oh my God, and now I have to publish it and create the newsletter and social media and all that because I spread it out over 2 days. So on Tuesday, I upload the audio file that I downloaded, exported from Descript, and I upload it to Buzzsprout. This is my podcast hosting platform. This is what you need when you have a podcast, a place to host your audio files. I had no idea about this before I started my own podcast. So if you're like, hell, what do I need? That's totally fine not to know that. But Apple Podcasts and Spotify and all the other podcast platforms out there, they don't host your podcast episodes, the audio files, they just distribute them. So I use Buzzsprout. There are other options. You have to do your research. But I use Buzzsprout and they are great. I really love them. I've been with them since I started my podcast. I also add the link to the show notes. They have great features like visual sound bites. You can create your own podcast ads that you place on all your episodes. So much more. The statistics are great. It just has a nice look and feel. It's not free, but for me, it just works great. I upload the episode, add the show notes, and publish it. That takes me around 5 minutes. Then I create a blog post. I create a blog post for every episode. I create a newsletter, social media captions, Pinterest images, and I'm using Claude for this too, so my AI tool. And it's so amazing. Honestly, it takes me less than an hour to do all that. I know because recently I've started completing these tasks during the co-working sessions I'm hosting in my Blissful Biz Academy, and I get everything done in 45 to 50 minutes. It's so incredible how AI can support us. It makes the whole process a lot easier to handle. I simply feed it the script, the final script, and tell Claude, turn this into a blog post. And then now write a newsletter promoting this blog post and write social media captions based on this blog post. Things like that. I can ask it, give me some quotes for the episode that I can use in images. It's really amazing. I used to hand over all those tasks to my VA, and I paid a lot for this each month. Now I'm like, I can spend that hour per week and put the money I save in my EFT fund to save for my retirement, right? Yeah, so that's pretty much the whole process. It's so much easier than you might think, I promise. Let's talk about you. Are you considering starting a podcast? Maybe you're like me and have been thinking about it for a while. I thought about starting a podcast for over a year before I finally recorded my first episode, really. And I was ready. I should have started sooner. And you might be ready too. So here's some signs that you might be ready. You have a clear message or area of expertise to share. You're genuinely passionate about your topic and can talk about it for hours. You're willing to commit to a consistent production schedule. You have or are willing to invest in some basic recording equipment. And you're excited about connecting with an audience through audio. That's really all you need to be ready. Remember, perfection isn't a prerequisite for starting. Quite the opposite. My first episodes were far from perfect. And I still cringe a little when I see them. I don't plan to listen to them. I don't. I can't. Oh, no. Maybe I should, but oh my God, cringe, right? In any case, I know that I've grown as a podcast host in the last 4.5 years and got more comfortable and also more confident. You really only get there by doing it. The most important steps are to begin and to maintain consistency. Your skills and content will naturally improve over time. You just need to get started. And if this is hard, I get it. I spent, as I said, over a year thinking I should really start a podcast before I finally did it. Mindset blocks are so common in podcasting as in any creative endeavor. And I've grappled with all of them at some point, doubting your authority or your right to have a podcast, feeling overwhelmed by existing competition, or the fear of not attracting listeners, and the discomfort with hearing your own voice. Really, all these thoughts are 100% normal, but they shouldn't hold you back. Remember, your unique perspective is so valuable. While there may be other podcasts in your niche, none have your specific voice and experiences. I still remember the first time I listened to my recorded voice, and I was shocked. Did I really sound like that? I was like, oh my God, that's so not good. And now I really like my voice. I do. I'm so much more comfortable with how I sound and how I look. And that's because I decided to be visible, to step outside of my comfort zone. Here's the thing. Your listeners aren't focused on how you think you should sound. They are there for your content, your personality, your expertise. And I promise, with time and practice, that discomfort will fade and your authenticity will shine through. It's so worth it. I truly love podcasting, especially the interviews and meeting the most amazing guests and learning from them. I loved interviewing some of my students and friends and people I really admire. And I also love diving deep into a topic and researching it. The great thing is you can share so much more and go a lot deeper than, say, in a social media caption. And that's not only really, really valuable. You put out something with true value. It's also a lot more fun and it's so much more gratifying. And yeah, so that's my love for podcasting. We've covered a lot of ground today, from the nitty-gritty of my podcast creation process to the approach I use for planning episodes and selecting guests. I really hope these insights and my experiences are helpful for you, whether you are an aspiring podcaster or you're looking to refine your existing process. The key is to start, maintain consistency, and always focus on providing value to your listeners. Every episode is an opportunity to grow and connect with your audience in meaningful ways. Now, I'd love to hear your thoughts or experiences with podcasting. Feel free to reach out through social media or share your thoughts with me inside the Blissful Biz Hive. Until next time, my friend, have a great day and I'll talk to you soon.